Have you ever felt like you work hard, save money, cut expenses, do everything you can to set some money aside, and yet at the end of the day it feels like nothing really changes? Like your financial life is a treadmill where you run and run and run, but stay stuck in the same place. That's the reality for most people. And it's not because they don't try, but because the beginning of any financial journey is ungrateful. It's like planting a tree. In the beginning you water it, take care of it, protect it from sun and rain, but for months you barely see any results. The temptation to give up is huge, because it feels like effort without reward. But just like in nature, there comes a moment when the seed finally breaks through the ground. There comes a time when your money starts to gain a life of its own. And this doesn't just happen once. There are 3 turning points that forever change the way you see money. 3 moments when all the effort stops looking useless and suddenly turns into explosive results. The first turning point is when your investments start making more money than you're able to save from your paycheck. Think about it. In the beginning, every bit of growth depends only on your discipline. You put aside $100, $200, $500, maybe $1,000 a month, and what really makes the difference is how much you manage to save. But as time passes, your capital starts working. At first, the returns are tiny, almost invisible, and it's frustrating. But then one day you look at the numbers and realize the interest and dividends you earned that month are actually bigger than the money you deposited. That's the first psychological victory. It's the proof that money can work for you. It's like hiring an invisible employee that doesn't sleep, doesn't take vacations, and never asks for a raise. That moment is magical because it changes your mindset. You realize every dollar invested is like a brick that builds your house by itself. From that day on, discipline becomes easier because the results are finally visible. But the game doesn't stop there. The second turning point is even more impactful. It happens when the money your portfolio makes every month equals what you earn at your job. Imagine this. If today you make $4,000 at work, there will come a day when your investments also generate $4,000 a month. It's like having 2 paychecks, one active, depending on your daily effort, and one passive, depending only on the discipline you had in the past. That's when freedom starts to take shape. You realize you don't depend only on your own energy to survive anymore. Money starts sharing the responsibility with you. The mindset shift is enormous. People who reach this stage often describe a deep sense of relief. It's like carrying a heavy backpack for years, and suddenly someone comes along to help carry the weight. You're still on the road, but it doesn't feel nearly as exhausting. That's the moment you finally see financial independence as a real possibility. And then comes the third turning point, the most powerful of all, the one that defines who truly achieved freedom. It happens when your wealth is so large that it can sustain your entire lifestyle just with safe withdrawals. The 4% rule is a good reference. If you have $1 million invested, you can withdraw $40,000 a year, or about $3,300 a month, without ever running out of money. Now imagine having 2, 3, 5 million invested. At this stage you no longer work because you need to. You work only if you want to. The money generates enough to cover housing, food, leisure, healthcare, and still leaves room to reinvest. That's the moment you wake up and decide how to live your day without worrying about bills or a boss. That's true freedom. That's when life explodes with possibilities. These 3 points are like steps on a ladder. The first shows money can move faster than you. The second shows it can move at the same pace as you. The third shows it can move without you, carrying your entire life forward. But none of them arrive quickly. The process demands patience, discipline, and time. In the beginning, it feels impossible. You look at your balance, compare it with your effort, and think it will never work. But every contribution, every small deposit, every month of consistency is like a drop of water filling a bucket. At first, it feels like it will never fill. And then one day, all of a sudden, it overflows. And when it overflows, you realize all the sacrifice was worth it. Think about how many people you know who gave up before reaching that point. How many quit investing because they thought the returns were too small, that it didn't make a difference, that it was better to spend in the moment? These people never even got to the first turning point. But those who persist, who understand the power of time, reap extraordinary results. And the difference between those who make it and those who don't is not luck, and it's not talent. It's consistency. It's continuing even when it feels useless. It's keeping at it even when there's no applause. It's watering the seed even when it shows no sign of life. And if you still think these points are unreachable, just look at the numbers. If someone invests $1,000 a month with an average return of 10% per year, after 10 years, they'll have about $200,000. At that stage, the monthly returns can be around $1,600, already more than the monthly contribution. That's the first turning point. After 20 years, this same investor will have over $700,000, with monthly returns of nearly $6,000. That's the second turning point, when the portfolio equals a paycheck. After 30 years, the wealth surpasses $2.3 million, and the yearly returns go beyond $200,000, enough to live comfortably withdrawing just 4 or 5%. That's the third turning point. It's simple math, but it feels like magic for those who never bothered to project the future. The most interesting part is that these points aren't reserved for people with massive salaries or big inheritances. They're within reach for anyone who understands the value of discipline. Of course, those with more resources get there faster, but even small amounts, maintained over time, achieve impressive results. It's like planting different trees at different times. Those who plant early enjoy shade and fruit sooner, but even those who plant late will still harvest, as long as they're patient enough to wait. That's why this isn't just about making more money. It's about changing your relationship with money. At the first turning point, you realize you're no longer alone. Your capital works with you. At the second, you see you're not dependent only on your job. You've built a second, invisible paycheck. At the third, you discover money has bought you the ultimate luxury, freedom of choice. And that's the greatest victory anyone can achieve. Because freedom isn't about buying luxury cars or flying first class. Freedom is waking up and deciding what to do with your day without depending on anyone. So remember the math that turns small deposits into silent fortunes. Remember that today's sacrifice builds tomorrow's peace. The turning points aren't illusions. They're real, they're achievable, and they're inevitable for those who stay on the path. And the question that remains is, which turning point are you at right now, and how far will you have the courage to go? Basically, that was the video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and share it with someone who might find it helpful. At the end of this video, I'll also leave some other videos about financial organization that can help you out. See you next time.